Hey there, and happy finals. My name is Jasmine Blue, and this semester I had the opportunity to participate in a on-campus research study under Dr. Jason Farrell through a research methods course required for obtaining my bachelor's degree in psychology. In preparation for designing this class project, our research team, or basically our entire research methods class, was given the assignment to create a design that uncovers what effects or relation, if any, the use of social media use may have on psychological well-being of those who use it. At first, the idea of this just seemed relevant, especially because the operation of social media has become almost mundane or just too common amongst our society, especially our age group. The class's first study, which I'll be referring to as Study 1, used a correlational approach that placed an emphasis on discovering the relationship between social media use, thoughts, and emotions. Our research question for Study 1 is, how does active social media use, passive social media use relate to positive affect, negative affect, and life satisfaction? Or put more simply, how does the way you use social media relate to your psychological well-being? The research team collaboratively created a survey in Qualtrics, which we sent out via snowball method through email and our social media platforms. The study measured for active social media use and passive social media use by asking them how many hours they spent performing these actions. And we also included questions that were concerned with life satisfaction and how they were feeling at that moment, also referred to as state measure. A demographic questionnaire was also included in this survey to better understand if outside forces were at work during these findings. So now the fun part, the results. From the first study, we had a whopping 455 respondents, a number I'm actually pretty proud of. These guys were not given any incentive, just encouraged to help out the social sciences. So thanks again. The first correlation we found was between active social media use and positive affect. And just to remind ourselves what this looks like, it would mean liking, commenting, posting, and sharing. So in essence, this translates to an individual emitting positive feelings while viewing social media, liking funny things, or sharing thoughts and emotions that may bring positivity to them. The second finding from Study 1 was a small yet significant negative correlation with life satisfaction and passive social media use. To better explain what this looks like, a social media user, when passively using social media outlets, means that they're just viewing others' posts, pictures, and thoughts. So it leads them to feel a little bit less satisfied with their own life, which could have a lot to do with social comparison, which I included in my literature review for this study, for this project. Our second study expanded on these findings and searched for a further causal reason as to why this could occur. Therefore, our second study was an experimental design, rather correlational, which allowed us to manipulate the independent variable administered to each participant. So we had 3 research questions for Study 2. 1, is there a main effect for social media use and psychological well-being? 2, does social media use interact with gender to affect psychological well-being? And 3, how does gender interact with social media usage? So we had a 2x3 between subjects and NOVA. This is just a little preview of what the design would look like, however inverted. Sorry about that. We ended up with 130 participants to analyze for this study too. The male and female gender differences were the focus. Those who identified as female were in the active social media condition reported more negative emotions than those who were placed in the positive or passive social media use condition or the no social media usage condition. For our second significant findings, males who were placed in the active social media manipulation of dependent variables reported more positive feeling of psychological well-being when compared to males who responded in the passive social media use and no social media use categories. Overall, also, if this is true, that means our 5-minute survey explains 8% of the variance change and is assisting in filling the gap. Overall, this class research project contributed to the growing literature concerned with social technology's power on an individual or the user's overall well-being. It was a challenging yet interesting way to decode the behaviors of social sharing, comparison, and gender differences behind the motives of social media usage. And remember, the sharing of reliable data and contributions of all type to the sciences will only cultivate our society in a positive direction. So answer surveys and contribute to social sciences as much as you can. Thank you guys, and thank you, Dr. Frill, for a great semester. Appreciate it.